Outlander Season 8 is shaping up to be one of the most emotional and suspense-filled final chapters in television history, and the theory of Henry finding Claire has only added fuel to the fire. Let's break down why this theory is spreading like wildfire, why so many fans believe it's not only possible but likely, and what it could mean for the Frasers and the show's ultimate conclusion. To begin, we need to remember the role of Henry in the Outlander universe. For many of us, Blood of My Blood gave us our first intimate look at Henry, Claire's father, portraying him not only as a man bound by duty and love, but also as someone whose story was tragically cut short. His supposed death in a car crash marked him as a figure confined to the past, someone Claire remembered but could never reach again. Yet Outlander has never been a story about the finality of death or the immovable barriers of time. From the very first moment Claire fell through the stones, the show has repeatedly told us that time is not linear, that love can defy centuries, and that the impossible is always within reach. That's why, when that mysterious voice echoed in the teaser, fans immediately turned to Henry as the most shocking and meaningful candidate. The key to understanding this theory lies in Outlander's long history of bending the rules of time. Remember Roger's encounter with his father in the past? At the time, it felt like a miraculous event, but now it almost feels like foreshadowing, planting the seed that family members can cross timelines and find each other when fate demands it. If Roger could see his father, why not Claire with hers? And doesn't it make perfect sense for this reunion to happen in the final season, when every storyline is converging and every lingering question is demanding closure? To add to the weight of this theory, think about how Claire reacted in the teaser. That stunned expression, that silent, almost breathless pause. This was not the face of a woman who just saw a stranger or even an acquaintance. This was recognition, deep recognition, the kind that shakes you to your core. Claire has faced war, loss, and heartbreak, but in that moment, she looked more vulnerable than ever, as if the very foundations of her identity were collapsing around her. And who else could inspire such a reaction but her own father, stepping into her life after all these years? Of course, some fans argue that Henry's return would be too far-fetched, that the writers wouldn't risk pulling off a twist this dramatic in the final stretch. But let's be honest, when has Outlander ever shied away from breaking our hearts and shocking us with the impossible? Think back to Jamie surviving Culloden, or Claire losing faith, or even the revelation of William being Jamie's son. Each of these moments felt unthinkable until they happened, and once they did, they became unforgettable. The writers know how to balance historical drama with supernatural elements, and they know how to hit us where it hurts most, right in the emotions. Henry's return, whether by time travel or some other mysterious twist, would not only shock the fandom, but also bring the prequel and main series full circle in a way that feels deeply satisfying. And let's not forget the symbolism. Outlander has always been about family, its survival, its fractures, its unbreakable bonds across time and space. To give Claire the chance to reunite with her father in the final season is not just a plot twist. It's a thematic triumph. It would remind us that even as wars rage and homes are lost, what endures is love, connection, and the strength of family ties. Imagine how this revelation could impact Claire's relationship with Jamie, with Brianna, with Roger, and the children. Imagine how it could shift the dynamics at Fraser's Ridge, where family secrets already threaten to tear everyone apart. Henry stepping into this storm could be the moment that either heals Claire or breaks her completely. The idea becomes even more compelling when you think about how the writers might use this to explore unanswered questions. Did Henry truly die in that car crash, or was it a cover for something much larger? Could he have discovered the truth about time travel long before Claire, keeping it hidden to protect her? And if he has indeed crossed centuries to find her, what does he want? Is he here to reunite, or does he carry secrets that will unravel Claire's world even further? Outlander thrives on mysteries, and Henry's sudden reappearance could be the ultimate puzzle, one that demands answers right until the very last episode. As we look ahead, the possibility of Henry finding Claire adds a thrilling new layer of suspense to Season 8. Every glance, every pause, every whisper in the trailers becomes a clue to decode. And while we can't know for sure until the episodes air, One thing is certain. The mystery of Mrs. Fraser has already made the final season unforgettable before it even begins. The fandom is alive with speculation, and the discussion is only going to get louder as we inch closer to the premiere. To really understand the weight of Henry possibly finding Claire in Season 8, we need to go back and connect the dots that the writers have been leaving for us all along. Outlander is a masterclass in planting seeds that bloom many seasons later, and Henry's presence has always been hovering in the background, even if only through Claire's memories and the recent prequel. Think about how the show has repeatedly circled back to family legacies and the mysteries of parentage. Jamie's son William became central to the story years after his introduction, and Faith, Claire and Jamie's stillborn daughter, continues to haunt their narrative with unanswered questions. Henry might be the final missing piece of Claire's family puzzle, a link that explains not just her past, but also the origin of her ability to time travel. Because let's be honest, Claire didn't stumble into this power by accident. Outlander has hinted that time travel runs in families, and if Roger could inherit it from his lineage, what if Claire's gift came from Henry himself? Suddenly, his reappearance in Season 8 isn't just emotional. It's absolutely necessary to explain the mythology of the series before it ends. This possibility gets even stronger when you consider how the show has handled parent-child relationships as turning points for its characters. Jamie was defined by his relationship with his father, Brian Fraser, whose memory shaped Jamie into the man we know today. Brianna's life was transformed by discovering her true father, Jamie, and traveling through time to meet him. Roger's arc deepened when he encountered his own father across time, changing the way he viewed his destiny. Outlander has always used fathers to anchor its characters' journeys, so why should Claire be any different? If Season 8 gives her the chance to face Henry, it won't just be a reunion, it will be the final step in Claire's story of identity, a chance for her to finally understand where she came from and why she was chosen by fate to walk this impossible path. This isn't just good storytelling, it's necessary storytelling. Fans deserve this level of closure after dedicating more than a decade to the series, and here's where it gets truly spine-chilling. The official synopsis for Season 8 speaks of family secrets finally coming to light and threatening to tear the Frasers apart from within. Many fans read this as a reference to Jamie's hidden past or to Brianna and Roger's family challenges, but what if the deepest secret belongs to Claire herself? Imagine the revelation that Henry not only survived, but knew more about time travel than he ever let on. Imagine him appearing at Fraser's Ridge with truths Claire isn't ready to hear, truths that might destabilize everything she believes about her life. It's not just about Henry's presence, it's about what he represents, a hidden past, a rewritten history, a challenge to Claire's identity at the very moment she thought she had finally found peace. The fandom is divided, of course, because some argue this theory risks overshadowing Jamie and Claire's love story. But I think the opposite is true. Claire's reunion with Henry could serve as the ultimate test of her bond with Jamie. For years, Jamie has been her anchor, the love that carried her through centuries of war and loss. But what happens when the father she lost suddenly reappears, tugging at the deepest parts of her heart? How does Jamie react when he sees Claire crumble at the sight of the man who raised her? Outlander thrives on emotional conflict, and this storyline would place Jamie and Claire in one of their most vulnerable positions yet. Not because their love is in doubt, but because their love will be challenged to hold steady against the emotional hurricane Henry's return would bring. Let's not forget the timing. With the series ending, the writers have only 10 episodes to tie together decades of storytelling. That means every single twist must carry weight. Every reveal must resonate. Henry's reappearance would be the kind of twist that simultaneously shocks viewers and connects multiple storylines, from the prequel to the present, from the mythology of time travel to the personal arcs of Claire and her family. It would give us answers about Claire's origins, a thematic link to her daughter Brianna, and possibly even a connection to the still mysterious Faith Fraser storyline. In short, it would do what the best Outlander twists always do: rip our hearts open and make us cry, while at the same time making us marvel at the elegance of the writing. But here's the suspenseful part. If Henry has found Claire, what does it cost? Outlander has never allowed its characters easy happiness. Every reunion comes with sacrifice, every victory with heartbreak. Claire seeing her father again could be the most beautiful moment of her life, but it could also be the beginning of her greatest trial yet. What if Henry's presence brings danger? What if his time traveling destabilizes the already fragile balance of the stones, or draws enemies toward Fraser's Ridge? And what if the cost of having Henry back is losing something else that Claire loves dearly? Outlander thrives on this kind of emotional trade-off, and fans know better than to expect a neat, happy reunion without consequences. That's why the Henry theory has the fandom buzzing. It's not just about shock value. It's about raising the stakes of the final season to levels we've never seen before. It's about making us ask questions that don't have easy answers. Can Claire handle the truth about her father? Can Jamie and Claire's love survive this storm? And can the Fraser family endure one more secret revealed in a world already filled with too much loss? These are the questions we'll be asking all season long, and the possibility of Henry being the voice in the trailer is the spark that lights this fire of suspense. The countdown to Season 8 has never felt more intense, because if Henry really has found Claire, then everything changes, and Outlander's grand finale will become the most unforgettable chapter yet. If Henry truly does find Claire in Season 8, then the question becomes not just how he got there, but why now? Outlander has always been about timing. Who arrives when, who gets lost in the flow of history, and how love and destiny collide in ways that change lives forever. Henry's sudden reappearance would not be random. It would have to serve a purpose that reaches beyond Claire's personal longing. This is where the theory becomes even more thrilling, because what if Henry's arrival is tied directly to the unresolved mysteries still hanging over the series? Fans have been waiting for years to understand the full truth about Faith Fraser, Claire and Jamie's daughter, who was lost at birth but continues to haunt the show's mythology. The Season 7 cliffhanger reignited speculation that Faith's story was not over, and co-showrunner Matthew B. Roberts already promised visual closure in Season 8. But what if Henry holds the missing piece of this puzzle? What if his journey through time is somehow connected to Claire's daughters, both Faith and Brianna, and the fate of the Fraser family as a whole? Suddenly, Henry isn't just Claire's father. He becomes the key to understanding the past, the present, and the future of the Frasers. This would make perfect sense given Outlander's structure. Every season has built its emotional climax on the intersection of personal drama and larger historical forces. Jamie and Claire's relationship has been tested not just by love rivals, but by wars, politics, betrayals, and the crushing weight of destiny. Season 8, as the final chapter, needs a revelation that weaves together everything we've seen before. Henry appearing at Fraser's Ridge, calling out Mrs. Fraser in that haunting voice, could symbolize the convergence of all timelines. Claire's past as a daughter, her present as a wife and mother, and her future as someone who finally understands her true legacy. That's why the fandom is so electrified by this theory. It doesn't feel like a gimmick. It feels like the logical climax of a story that has been unfolding for more than a decade. Of course, Outlander is notorious for playing with our expectations. Remember how the season's 7-part 2 teaser misled fans with that overly dramatic hospital scene, tricking us into believing tragedy was imminent? That moment proved that trailers are not always trustworthy, that editing can create chaos to fuel speculation. But this time, the stakes feel different. The mystery voice isn't just a misdirect. It's the heart of the conversation surrounding the finale. The showrunners want us to theorize, they want us to argue endlessly about who that voice belongs to, because they know the truth will shatter us when it's finally revealed. And if they've gone to this much effort to hide the identity, doesn't it make sense that the answer will be monumental? It's not going to be a minor character. It's not going to be someone irrelevant. It's going to be someone who flips Claire's world upside down, and Henry fits that bill more perfectly than anyone else. Now, let's think about how the writers could actually pull this off within the logic of Outlander's universe. The show has established the rules of time travel loosely but consistently. Stones, family bloodlines, and sometimes sheer willpower open the door between centuries. We've already seen that not everyone can travel, but those who do often share a family connection. Roger inherited his ability, Brianna inherited hers, and both paid the price of that gift in different ways. If Claire has the same ability, wouldn't it be poetic for the final season to reveal that she got it from Henry, who might have also carried the secret of crossing time? Imagine Claire realizing that her entire life, her love story with Jamie, her role in history, all of it was shaped by something her father passed down to her without her even knowing. That would not only blow open the mythology of the series, it would also ground Claire's story in the kind of emotional revelation that Outlander thrives on. And then comes the question fans are too afraid to ask. What if Henry's presence isn't just a gift, but a curse? Outlander has never given us happiness without a shadow of pain. When Brianna found Jamie, she also had to leave behind the safety of her own century. When Roger discovered his father, it was fleeting and bittersweet. If Claire finally reunites with Henry, will it last? Or will it be the cruelest trick of time, giving her the father she longed for only to snatch him away again? This possibility makes the theory even more devastating, because fans know that no matter how beautiful the reunion might be, Outlander rarely lets its characters keep their happiness without paying a terrible price. The implications stretch beyond Claire, too. Think about Brianna. Meeting her grandfather could reshape her entire sense of identity, just as meeting Jamie once did. For Brianna, who has always struggled to balance her modern upbringing with her life in the past, Henry's arrival could give her a new perspective on her heritage. He could become the missing link that helps Brianna finally reconcile the two halves of herself. And for Roger, a man whose own family history was tangled with time travel, Henry could serve as both a warning and an inspiration. The parallels would be too strong to ignore, and the writers could use Henry to tie together Roger and Brianna's story with Claire and Jamie's in a way that feels complete. But above all, the emotional center of this theory rests with Claire. Think of her face in the teaser, that stunned, unguarded expression. Claire has faced soldiers, kidnappers, betrayals, and the weight of entire wars. But that single look of shock carried more power than any battlefield scene. It was the face of a daughter who just saw the impossible. If the voice is Henry, then Claire's silence in that moment speaks louder than any words. It's the silence of recognition, of heartbreak, of longing, of disbelief. It's the silence of a woman who thought she'd buried her father in memory, only to hear him call her name again. That's why fans are obsessed with this moment. It's not just a line of dialogue. It's a lifeline to the deepest parts of Claire's soul. As we wait for the final season, the idea of Henry finding Claire keeps building suspense. Every interview, every production update, every whisper from the set is now viewed through this lens. Could that be Henry's voice? Did the prequel foreshadow this all along? Will the show truly link its beginning and its end through Claire's father? These questions have ignited the fandom, and the fact that no one can answer them until the season airs only makes the anticipation more unbearable. Outlander has always been a show about waiting. The wait between centuries, the wait between lovers, the wait between seasons. But this wait feels different. This wait feels final. And if the payoff is Henry finding Claire, then it will be worth every second.